Alright, you guys, so I'm making another rant video again because apparently I'm just always around idiotic people who I just keep seeing these idiotic people who love to justify their hatred and their ignorance. So people who constantly bring up black on black crime in order to say black lives don't matter to black people because black on black crime exists. Well, first and foremost, there's no such thing as black on black crime. It is just called crime. The same way if a white person kills another white person, we don't call it white on white crime. It's just called crime. And just imagine a world where a person loses their lives unjustly and disgusting, and we were to tell that person, well, it doesn't really matter because white people kill other white people, so it doesn't matter that this police killed you unjustly or this disgusting thing happened because other people kill you, so you clearly don't value your own lives. Like, it's just such a disgusting argument that people even make to try to justify. And I think being on TikTok a lot and seeing how many children's parents have this mentality, like this ugly, just hateful, disgusting. Ugh. Y'all, I'm so freaking tired of my freaking car mount. But basically, I'm just like, it takes someone very, very evil to say something like that. Like, just so hateful and disgusting. And it's like, how are you gonna tell the people who are saying our lives matter, how are you gonna tell the people fighting for our lives to matter that we don't think our lives matter because crime happens in our communities the same way it happens in all other communities? Like, it's just disgusting. And I'm tired of people thinking they are justified to say the disgusting things that they say. And so the point I was really trying to make is just, we are not protesting crime. It's just like, it doesn't really make sense to protest crime because most people will agree that when a crime occurs, they should be punished, they should be tried, and the criminal justice system should work to enact justice in the case of a crime, correct? But the only time someone doesn't get justice is when the police are the people killing them, which is why the problem is even there, why we're even protesting. Like, when another black person kills another black person, no one is trying to justify that black person killing the other black person. No one is saying that black person had every right to murder that other black person because of this and that and their criminal history and their criminal past, and trying to justify it. We know, we can all agree that it is wrong. And I feel like if something is wrong, it doesn't matter if someone's a police officer or if someone is a regular citizen. It is wrong. Wrong is wrong and right is right. So you only are okay with murder when it's a police officer, and we're saying no, their lives matter. Police shouldn't have the right to overexert their force. Police shouldn't be able to murder unarmed black people just for their skin color and just for their implicit bias and believing that all black people are criminals and inherently dangerous. It is wrong, and that is the disgusting beliefs that have led us to seeing what we see now. And I just am tired because I don't know how else to explain it. And like, people who are saying that the Black Lives Matter movement is racist, and I'm just like, what? How are you calling the movement that is fighting racism and racial injustice and policing and all other types of injustice? Because Black Lives Matter's statement, their platform, is ending police brutality and ending racism. And so what about that makes them racist? Like, you guys are so upset because we say Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, we are only saying Black Lives Matter after we've watched black lives being shown to not matter to police officers, to racist white people, to the cops who killed Breonna Taylor, to the cops who put his knee on George Floyd's neck, to the cop that shot Tamir Rice, to the citizen who killed what's his name? The fact that I can't even think of his name, there's just so many freaking people, there's so many names I have to keep up with, that their lives matter, and they would still be here if it wasn't for people's racism and people's implicit bias and lack of judgment and not being trained to handle situations. And I feel like in so many of these instances, the fact that they would be alive if the police hadn't showed up, like, let that sink into you. A person's life would still be here if police hadn't shown up. And in too many of these situations, I feel like police escalate the situations. They don't make it better. They don't bring things down. They don't add calmness. They add chaos. They add fear. They add all of these negative things when police are brought into these situations. Because I'm just thinking, like, why couldn't the cops in the Rayshard Brooks case, like, a good cop, in my opinion, if you saw that this man was sleeping in his car at a Wendy's, he was under the influence, and he's sleeping in his car because he's avoiding, drunk driving, obviously. And so he told the cops he lives like a couple weeks down, he'll just walk home. I feel like a good cop would have been like, if they were protecting and concerned about Rayshard Brooks' life because his life matters, they would have just said, hey, let's give you a ride home, make sure you get home safe. But those types of privileges don't ever seem to be offered to black people. And I feel like we have failed as in humanity, where we can't even do good to others. Like, how awesome and amazing would it have been if this cops just offered him a ride home instead of escalating the situation by trying to force him to be arrested after talking with him for 30 minutes comfortably, rationally, and then suddenly it's like this switch. Oh, we need to get him, he's a criminal, we need to arrest him, blah blah blah. And it's just like that. We have failed as, I feel like, a society and as a community, because we don't care about other people's lives. And I think a lot of police officers, instead of trying to do the right thing, they try to do the corrupt thing. Or I wouldn't even say corrupt thing. I mean, no, I'm going to say corrupt thing, because at this point, this entire system is just corrupt. Police have quotas they have to make for crime. And when you give police quotas to reach, you have to give out a certain number of tickets. You have to give out a certain number of citations. You have to arrest a certain amount of people, because the criminal justice system is making money by arresting people, by putting them in jail, having them do free labor so that they earn money. And if there is any incentive for a company to put people in jail, it's going to be corrupt. It is going to be corrupt. You are literally forcing people and wanting to create crime so that people can be put in jail so that you can make more money. And that is why the criminal justice system is corrupt. And especially when you tie into about the inherent racism that is behind the criminal justice system, where it was about policing black people and with slave patrols. And when laws were created to get black people in jail right when they were got freed from slavery, in order to have that free slave labor again. So don't sit here and tell me the policing system in this country is fine and it's not corrupt, when every part of the criminal justice system is corrupt. And you cannot act in good conscience in a corrupt system. You just can't. So yeah.